Good evening, everybody. Okay, tonight is round one at Bahrain. So we are going to have a quick look at the track here. The speed trap is right at the end of the final straight. Then we have a detection zone right before a right-hander there. So obviously to check whether the car ahead of you is within that 1 second DRS zone, DRS gap. Then we move into sector 1, where we will see the first of the 3 DRS zones on this track. Coming around sector 2 between corner 10 and corner 11, we have the second DRS zone. And then on the final straight, we have the third final DRS zone. Okay, so we will quickly go and hop over for a quick track introduction before we'll have the race coverage for tonight.
The 2016 Bahrain Grand Prix is the 12th running of the race on the Gulf Island nation and the 3rd since it switched to a night race. The drivers start their laps by accelerating along the 1 kilometre pit straight. In 2015 they were hitting 330 kilometres an hour before hitting the brakes, one of the biggest stops of the F1 season for the 70 kilometre an hour turn 1. This will also be the main overtaking spot in the race. Turn 2 follows immediately and the drivers accelerate up through the right-hand kink of 3 before building up to 300 kilometres an hour and then slamming the brakes into 4. This is a good place to overtake if you've been passed into turn 1. The next sequence of sweeping downhill bends comes in quick succession. Turns 5, 6 and 7, testing the aerodynamics of the car. The drivers will be doing 250 kilometres an hour when they arrive into the braking zone for the right-hander at turn 8 in second gear. Then it's a short squeeze on the power up to 9 and 10, which form a tricky double apex left-hander. The drivers shift down to 80 kilometres an hour in second gear. The back straight features a second DRS zone. The drivers hit 315 kilometres an hour by the time they reach turn 11, a sweeping uphill left-hander. After taking a wide line on the exit, turn 12 forms a tricky 7th gear right, and the drivers will then be straight on the brakes to nail the apex of turn 13, 125 kilometres an hour at the top of the ride. It's important to get a good exit on the following straight, as the drivers were building up to top speed of 305 kilometres an hour last year. Turns 14 and 15 form the difficult final corner back onto the pit straight. The drivers will brake to 120 kilometres an hour in third gear as they try and carry as much speed as possible through the corner. Then it's back up through the gears for the blast down the pit straight and another lap of the Bahrain International Circuit.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round one of the Synergy Omega Championship. Tonight, joining me in the commentary box is Ruan Bronkhorst. Josh couldn't make it for tonight, so we'll excuse him. Yeah, welcome, Ruan.
Thank you very much, Quentin. Thank you for having me. It's been really lovely. I'm very excited for
Do you have any favorites for tonight, Ruan?
I can't say I have for sure. I haven't seen a lot of these guys race before, but I'll definitely keep my eye out for
As we see that some of them have already started setting some quick times there. Anthony already on a 126.0, very quick time there, followed closely by Bailey, only 0.1 of a second behind him currently.
those are some blistering times, especially for so early on the qualifying already.
This is the Ferrari driver for today is Finn. He's actually a reserve driver for the Formula 2, standing in for the Formula 1 drivers that couldn't make the race tonight.
Okay, so this is his debut in the Formula 1 then.
Yes, correct.
Beautiful.
Hoping he does pretty good today, seeing as he
You
like,
would.
yeah, this is my team. I'm putting a lot of faith in him today for this race. Bernardo Augusto, very, very quick driver. He was actually the fastest on time trials.
Okay, wow, that is quite interesting to hear.
Yeah, and if we have a look at the F1 driver card there, you can see that. Sorry, let me just bring up his card. He actually got a contract value of $9.5 million for the season. Uh, Driving obviously for his driver one position there at Racing Point. That is a huge contract.
That is quite huge, but you can see why. He's already almost a second ahead of Anthony there on the qualifiers.
Blistering fast.
That's very, very quick, yes.
Also
Even more than
Enrica,
Enrique.
yeah, that's another F2 driver, I believe, that is currently standing in for the Renault team tonight.
Okay.
We saw him in the F2 race yesterday. He did pretty good as well.
That's
Scored
correct,
some
yeah.
points.
Yes, he did. V as well. I think V, we were just with V on there on board there. I think he's also a new addition to the league.
That's correct. He's also a Formula 2 driver standing in for the Mercedes team tonight.
Okay. See, Sven got some screen time again. Obviously favoring the Ferraris there.
I believe Mohammed is also another F2 driver. So both drivers for the Mercedes team are actually their reserve drivers tonight, with their main drivers not being able to make the race tonight.
It would be quite interesting to see how the reserve drivers would actually do against these much faster Formula One guys.
Yeah, the skill gap between them is not that massive. I would say with between the top maybe 5 drivers in the F1, they are extremely fast. But from I'd say the rest of the 15, there's not much in it. If I remember correctly on the time trials, they were separated by something like less than a second. It was that close.
Wow. Now that's 2 or 3 corners that you can just push the car a little bit more to get that time up.
Yeah, no, the competition in this league is very close. Right, we're seeing Enrico now gunning it on his hot lap. So far, keeping it nice and neat there.
They're not going over turn 4.
Yeah, you got to be careful coming around this corner. This can catch you out sometimes if you are just too quick on that throttle there, but he kept it nice and neat. Now coming into that downhill left-hand turn, also locking up a little bit, but he doesn't seem to have lost too much time there.
Yeah, that's a very difficult turn to get right sometimes.
Looks like he's followed just behind him is Alexander Kim, I believe. Or it could be Bailey. It's one of those drivers, it looks like. Oh, and he loses it. Commentator's curse there, hey?
Yes, I just wanted to say the same thing.
But I believe Enrico had trouble with that exact same corner on the F2 car. So
correct, yeah.
so we saw him spin out there last night as well. So that one he has not quite gotten to grips with just yet.
No, turn 12 you need to stay with the curb. That curb is very slippery and you can slide out very quickly there.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's see if Anthony can catch up to Bernardo there. Because I've seen Anthony race before and he is blistering quick.
Yeah, Anthony is awesome.
Beautiful lines there. Very clean.
We've seen Anthony race in some of the other leagues, and he's always one of the guys that is a contender for podiums. So we expect him to do well in this season as well.
Definitely, yes. It's either, like you said, it's either he takes podiums or he's driver of the day. It's one of those two.
Absolutely, yes. I think he was one of the guys that scored driver of the day for the majority of the times.
That's correct. Let's see what he's putting in now.
Comes across the line and he does improve his time, but still remains in P2.
Yeah, but still need to about improve 0.6 of a second there.
All right, let's have a look quickly at Anthony's card there. We see he came in a little bit, actually a lot cheaper than
Bernardo.
Bernardo. Yes, coming in at 4.5 million. I think that's a bit of a steal for Anthony. Actually, he's a very skilled driver.
Definitely, yeah. No, that's value for money right there. I mean, half of what Bernardo was cost.
Definitely.
Let's see what Bailey does.
Bailey came in at exactly the same amount as Anthony as well, also for 4.5 million. Got the driver one seat for Williams.
Beautiful. So theoretically, we should see. Ooh, and Bailey actually takes second place from Anthony there.
Wow, and look how close those times are. Separated by
Extremely close.
10 one-hundredths of a second.
Yeah, that's extremely close. And I can actually see with the contract values that how close these guys are. I mean, both of those cars went for 4.5 million, and their times are practically exactly the same.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps the competition well spaced and well equal balanced, I would say, amongst the teams.
Definitely, we were on board with Rabbi. He's actually driver one for my team for the McLaren. So as I drive for Formula 2 for MP Motorsports, he is my.
He's actually driver two. He's actually driver two, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Also for 4.5 million. So it
Yeah.
seems like that is the middle ground for that as he enters the pits.
Abandoning his lap, perhaps.
Yeah.
He's currently on P8. Do you expect him to improve on that time?
Definitely, yes. Rabbi put in a lot of time to improve his pace and his consistency. I haven't seen anyone as dedicated as Rabbi before to improve, to be honest.
Here we're looking at Mohammed. He was actually the winner of the Formula 2 sprint race yesterday.
That's correct, yes. Very aggressive driver, but also very quick. It would be a stupid mistake to underestimate Mohammed. He is extremely quick and aggressive driver.
I'm actually surprised to see how good some of these Formula 2 guys are shaping up against their Formula 1 counterparts tonight in the qualifying.
For sure. Yes, no, definitely. Let's see what Mohammed puts in.
With 3 minutes left, we still have 4 guys that have not set a time yet. Jordan is in the lobby, but he actually joined by mistake. He was one of the team principals who wanted to spectate the race and accidentally picked a car. So it's actually just 3 drivers, my mistake, 3 drivers that have not set a time yet.
But at least we can see Alexander Kim is he's busy setting his fast lap now as he was on the out lap. We're on board with Charlie. It seems like Charlie is the only one for Alpha.
It does look like that, yes.
Let's see what Charlie puts in here.
I think a lot of the F1 guys got caught out with planning, I think, with regards to the round 1, but they did promise to make a better appearance for round 2.
Okay, that's good to hear. Oh, yeah, with that, it's strange that we don't see more F2 guys sitting in reserve seats here, because obviously the team principals want as many drivers in their cars as possible.
Yeah. I think it was late notice by a couple of teams as well, so you couldn't get the proper planning in place. You know, if you notify that you're not going to make the race in the last dying minutes, then there's not much time to organize a reserve.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm burning to see what Charlie's gonna put in here, because he hasn't put a lap in yet. We don't know where he sits.
I believe Charlie is from, he's from Great Britain, coming in at 1.25 million. Driver 2 for Alpha.
Okay, okay, so he's driver 2 then.
But he got a top 10 qualifying there, so very good on his part.
Oh, he just got knocked out of top 10.
As the words are not even called.
Yeah. So let's see what Sven can do if he can improve his lap. Yeah, he should have enough time to set in a fast lap.
Yeah, Sven literally joined the league, and he did not manage to do the race last night, as he only joined today, and actually got thrown in the deep end, having to stand in straight away for one of the Formula One guys as well, as both of the primary F1 guys could not make the race for Ferrari. And the second reserve for Ferrari also couldn't make it. So yeah, it was a bit of a mishmash on Ferrari's side this week, but hopefully for round 2 we'll have a much better showing. I'm hoping to surprise a few people in round 2.
Definitely hoping to be surprised. There's usually a little bit with the first round or first race. There's usually a little bit of hiccups here and there.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of races to go for this season. Anything can still happen.
Definitely.
Ruben, we have not seen a lot of him tonight. Let's have a look at his driver card. He's driver 1 for Alpha Tauri, coming in at 1.5 million. Very nice guy this as well, Ruben.
1.5 million, and he's currently in 5th qualifying. It's actually very good money well spent.
Definitely. He'll obviously look at achieving a good position throughout the season to then increase his marketability and driver value for next season.
Definitely.
As explaining to the viewers quickly, the time trials that we held prior to the season start actually determined the driver's ranking, and with their ranking determined a default value for that driver, where the team principals use that as a starting bid. So some of the drivers were actually a lot more expensive than their original starting value. Then at the end of season 1, your driver value is then going to be determined on where you finished the season. So if you finish well, you can drastically change how much you're worth. Looking at Bernardo here, again trying to improve on his already blistering time. Coming in across the line.
Let's see what he puts in.
And improves again.
Wow.
83 1,000ths of a second.
Wow. Yeah, as you were explaining to the viewers as well, Ruben actually just went from 5th place to 4th place today.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna see great things from him this season. I think he is actually a little undervalued. And there is something to be said for time trials. It's not a true reflection of everything that goes into a race. Just because you're able to set a fast lap does not necessarily mean that you're going to be doing great in races. There's a whole lot more that goes into the mix. You know, staying calm under pressure, being able to stay consistent, being able to choose the right strategy. All of these things come into the play to make a great race driver.
No, definitely. As well with time trials, your cost setup is completely different as with the race setups. Obviously, with race setups, you want to preserve your tires and fuel. Where with the time trial setups, you don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, you can pull your car apart just to try and get that proper lap time in.
Sure. And I think a lot of the guys do sandbag a little bit as well.
For the time trials.
For the time trials,
yeah.
So having competition underestimated when they come into the race, like Ruben here.
Yeah, must be.
This time, yes.
We're looking at Pedro here, currently on screen. Pedro was actually the Portuguese champion, I believe.
Wow, okay. So we've got almost an esports pro here in the league.
So he's driver 1 for Haas, and his contract was $9 million. Also one of the more expensive drivers in F1 at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's so far the second most expensive we've seen so far.
Yeah, I believe the most expensive was actually Gideon. He's not in the race today, but I can pull up his driver card if you'd like. There we go. 9.7 million was actually the highest contract that somebody earned for season 1. Right, as we look at the qualifying standings there, Bernardo Augusto at a 124.7, scoring himself pole position, followed closely by, 1.2 seconds behind Bailey, then Anthony Barbera, Ruben, and then Pedro. Those guys really surprised me. Bailey putting in a fantastic lap timer. really impressed with his lap time today.
No, definitely. I'm quite impressed by Bailey right there. Yeah, there's a bunch of new names there, but I think you asked me earlier for one of my who do I think is my favorite, and right now I'm actually rooting for Ruben, and then obviously my teammate.
Yeah, you got to support your teammates.
Definitely. So do you have any favorites for this season, Quentin? Except obviously for Sven.
Well,
Sven right now.
I'm rooting for my guys to do well, but if they pitch up for all the rest of the remaining races, I think Carl and Quinton are definitely going to be favorites for at least a top 5 finish in the season.
Definitely. I mean, I've seen Quentin race, and he can pull a rabbit out of a hat.
All right, as we start the formation lap here. Bernardo obviously looking to get away from the pack as quick as possible once the race starts. If you have that clean air, it's obviously going to definitely count in his favor, being as quick as he is as well.
Yes. So I just saw you bring up the tire strategies. So it seems like the fastest is a two-stopper. Do you think any of these cars will try and pull off a one-stopper here?
That remains to be seen, eh? It's always a bit of a chess game with regards to the strategies and the different setups that they choose for the pit strategies, and yeah, we'll definitely see what the teams plan.
For sure, yes. As we can see, most of the guys are on the soft, so usually if you start on the soft, you're not going to be able to pull out that one-stopper.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, with the soft, you're gonna be looking at, I would say, 8, maybe 9 good laps. After that, they'll start falling off very quickly.
Definitely. Are you going to have to want to go on another set of softs and then finish with mediums?
Yeah, so you're probably gonna end up doing something like that. Yeah, for sure. Or going soft, medium, soft.
Yeah. As we see, Sven was already disqualified early in the formation lap. Now, obviously, with a cold start.
Yeah, I think maybe he struggled. Some of the new guys do have issues sometimes, getting used to the formation lap and all of that. I hope that he does not have any issues with regards to the pit limiter that we also have in place. So just for the viewers' sake, we do have manual pit limit enabled, so the drivers do need to slow down ahead of the time and then activate pit limiter manually. Right, let's as we see the drivers now get ready for the race to start. Ruan, you can talk us through this.
Okay. So we've got 5 lights, guys, and it is lights out, and nothing's happening. There we go. Obviously, some lag going on there. As we can see, Bernard is still in the front, followed by Bailey and Anthony. Anthony very close to.
Oh, we see a couple of guys diving in on the inside there, but being cut off. Clean so far from what I can see.
Definitely. And Bernardo is already forming a big gap there of 7/10 of a second.
Alexander seems to have been taken out there on corner 1, if you can look at the mini map there. And another driver also went off, it looks like Enrico.
Yeah, that triggered this virtual safety car.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. So we already have a bit of a slow start now. Hopefully the drivers will be able to keep their tires warm enough now.
Definitely, yes. Virtual safety cars at least off. It's green flags again. Let's see how this forms out.
Oh, and it looks like Bernardo also got a blistering quick start there. He got away from Anthony quickly there. maybe caught him a little bit unaware.
Definitely, yeah. We can see also Bailey in two positions from starting in third place already. Our second, yeah,
Jeez,
third.
beautiful view there as we see Bernardo just weaving through that S-bend there.
Watching him race is definitely it's like art.
See Bailey having a sneak peek there on on Ruben in front of him.
Let's see what happens. Is he's going to get some slipstream on Ruben.
Wow, Ruben in P3. You know, I'm really being surprised by some of these guys and the pace that they're showing.
Definitely, definitely.
Looks like Charlie is also catching up on Noel there at the moment for P8.
Yeah, it does look like it. Yes, but the closest is still between Bailey and Ruben. Yeah, that Bailey does not want to concede that position.
Yeah, no, they're definitely fighting pretty hard at the moment.
Yes.
Oh, that was brilliantly done there by Bailey.
Oh, and Ruben takes it back.
Sheesh.
Side by side action there, actually giving Pedro the chance to catch up a little bit, making it a three-way battle.
Yeah, Bailey had to concede there a little bit to keep himself, you know, out of trouble there for that corner.
Definitely. And now V is also joining in, making it a
four-way battle there now. Jeez, and V is also surprising us. I mean, he's a Formula 2 driver and coming in P6 at the moment. He's really showing amazing pace.
Yeah, maybe Alejandro might have some competition going on with him now.
No, it'll definitely going to be interesting to see what Formula 2 drivers get promoted at the end of season to join the F1 counterparts. Oh, and side by side.
Does it stick? Yes, it does.
Brilliant move there by Bailey. And the other two behind him still duking it out. We see him having a sneak peek there, Pedro, and he gets pied. Ruben, does he make it stick? Ruben takes it back. Oh, brilliant fighting this, eh? Action-packed.
It's very, very tight.
Jeez, these four guys are so close to each other. Ruben Ruben being closely followed there by Pedro, putting a lot of pressure on him.
Definitely, yeah. You can see V hanging back about half a second.
Oh, locking up a little bit there. You can see the pressure is coming into play. You know, Pedro pushing Ruben really hard, but Ruben doing a brilliant job at the moment with the defense of that position.
Definitely, and it's giving Bailey also a little bit of a chance to get away from these guys when they're battling it out.
True, they're very, very true. The moment Bernardo is just pulling away from the pack at the moment. Nobody's being able to match his pure blistering pace at the moment.
I mean, it's lap 3, it is already 2.5 seconds ahead.
We also see Brandon Smith closing the gap to Enrico for P10 at the moment.
Oh, what happened? Oh, no. Jordan was not racing.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here on this straight again. It's actually quite interesting to see these guys battle it out. They just stick with it.
And Bailey being challenged there by Ruben again. They're not quite done with Bailey just yet, eh?
Definitely not.
As we see the three of these guys very close. Oh, and it caused Ruben to go wide, and Pedro took advantage and squeezed in between the gap between Bailey and Ruben. So obviously Pedro being the winner there, and his experience coming into play obviously there.
Yeah, definitely.
Excuse the overlay, somebody got disconnected and I had to send an invite.
Let's see if we can get some slipstream action going here. Bailey doing very well to defend his position. As these guys catch up, he just manages to get another little bit of a gap, just to breathe a little bit, and then just defend again once they get close enough.
It looks like Bailey is faster than the guys behind him through Sector 2, because that's also the last lap that we looked at him, where he pulled a little bit of a gap, but then he seems to lose time again between sector 1 leading up to sector 2.
Definitely, yeah.
And that's obviously the double DRS zones that are kind of to blame for that.
Ooh.
Pulls in right beside him, Pedro, really wanting this position that Bailey is holding on so tightly at the moment. Oh, losing it a little bit. Oh, no. Oh, that is just from pushing a little bit hard there. A little bit of a driver mistake there, driver error.
Yeah, I think it might be some dirty air that caused that as well.
Yeah, causing the car to get unsettled, for sure. Ruben now obviously gaining that position, right back being in P4, but right back onto the tailpiece there of Bailey.
Yeah.
These guys are really duking it out today. Just not letting each other go, eh?
Oh no, and Bailey left the session, obviously disconnecting or something. Gives Ruben the chance to pass him, and probably V now as well. That is unfortunate for Bailey.
Oh, I hope he'll be able to join back, because while he's disconnected, the AI is actually going to take control of his cars, and that's going to drive a lot slower than he does. Oh, thank goodness Bailey is back.
I don't know, he's already lost 2 positions there. Oh, that was unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate for him. Now he's got some work to do to get that back. All right.
Hey, here's my teammate. Let's see what... Oh, no, that was too short. Muhammad already with a 1-stop.
No, that's probably due to some damage. I doubt you would see him pit at lap 6 already if he did not have damage.
No, definitely. I mean, we saw him in the F2 race take like 12 laps on the mediums before he went for the pits.
Yeah, I think yeah, you're right. I just can't recall if it was the mediums or the hards that he was on.
Yeah, I can't recall now as well. Now you made me doubt myself. So now that
Bailey is pushing hard to catch up to V at the moment, as we are looking at Noel right now driving for Renault.
I'm trying to catch Charlie there.
Quickly bring up Noel's card there. He's actually at 8.25 million for the season.
So almost right up there with
very expensive driver, clearly very skilled as well.
Yeah, no, he's right up there with the expensive guys.
Going a little bit off track to get good traction through the left bend.
Yeah, Jahan is catching Charlie. He's really gunning for that 7th position.
Yeah, no, he's bringing that gap down the whole time. This is currently the closest battle on track, I believe. Yes.
That is correct, yes.
Guys do look like they've spread themselves out there. The previous, 4 musketeers that were fighting it out.
Yes. Let's see if Noel can catch up to Charlie there. Oh, it's pushed it down to half a second. Even closer.
Oh, wow, that is close. Ooh. How he managed to not make contact there. I think maybe they just touched a little bit, but it's all good.
That's great.
Rubbing is racing, as they say.
Well, you can see Noel's teammate there in the back, Enrico, trying hard to push the car to come back and meet fight with his teammate here in this battle right here.
But keep in mind that Enrico is a Formula 2 driver, so for him to be in the top 10 currently is very impressive.
That is correct. With that spin out on at turn 12 as well earlier in the race.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. He won't be in DRS zone. Get the DRS on Charlie there. And the DRS does help quite a lot. You probably should see around 2 to 3 tenths of a second on the DRS zone to try and catch up to the guy in front of you.
Yeah, it's important to try and keep that gap under a second if you can.
That's correct, yeah, with another DRS detection.
Oh, and we see Charlie going a bit wide. Obviously also from pushing very hard trying to get rid of Noel behind him. Sven also doing pretty good for P10 at the moment.
Definitely, yes.
But he is lacking the pace of Enrico ahead of him a little bit. As you can see, he's quite far behind him.
That's correct.
Bailey coming in for a change of tyres there. I couldn't quite make out. Was that hard tyres that he went on?
I could not see either. And Bernardo's just increasing that gap. We're almost at 6 seconds already. So it's almost looking at a second per lap.
Wow.
That is blistering fast.
Yeah,
That is
that's he's
insane.
definitely building himself a good buffer. Yeah, it looks like he went out on the mediums, so he fitted some mediums. So he'll obviously have to pit once more.
Yeah, so he's probably going to go soft, medium, medium. Yeah, soft, medium, mediums or soft, medium, hards. V is doing really well. I'm seriously impressed with him. He's like keeping up with some of the big guys in here. I mean, Ruben is quite a fast guy, but I think who is that in front of him?
Yeah, it's Ruben. No, it's Ruben.
Wow, okay, I did not
Yeah, he's
realize
only
that it was-
0.6 of a second behind Ruben, and Ruben heads into the pits. So V is very impressive in this race at the moment.
Definitely, yeah. But Ruben's obviously going to try and go for the undercut on V.
You know, looking at his performance in the F1 race, and he did not have the opportunity also to race in the Formula 2. Or did he? I can't remember now.
No, he didn't.
He didn't,
He
no.
joined right after.
Yeah, so him and Sven joined after the Formula 2 race, so it'll be very interesting to see how he does in round 2 and for the remainder of the Formula 2 league.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be exciting racing against him as well. Obviously, the more fast competition you have, the better it is to improve yourself as well and to push yourself harder to learn from these guys.
Absolutely. We're seeing Noel now bring that gap down points. Oh, no, wait, it was 0.6 of a second. Now it's increased again. Bailey is now, he's obviously made a mistake there, and that's allowed Bailey to get past Noel.
It does seem like that.
Noel also getting a 3-second penalty there for exceeding track limits.
Yeah, and Bailey's already had a one-stop pit, so that means he's probably going to be able to get the undercut on Enrico and on Charlie right there.
As we see about 20 laps left of this race, still very exciting. V now currently first on track, but still needing to pit.
Yeah, we'll see if he's going to go for the pits now. Still not.
As we can see, he's not far behind him. You can see in the background there's Bernardo, who is already pitted.
Yes, that's what I just wanted to say. Obviously, the gap is becoming smaller and smaller between him and Bernardo, and he still needs to pit. That's why pit strategy is very, very important. It's probably the most important part of the race, other than spinning out or getting a DNF. But I mean, one stupid decision for your pit strategy, and it's game over.
Yeah, if you can keep your race clean, you didn't have an incident. Being able to master when to get into the pits and when not to, definitely, you know, can win you a couple of positions in a race, and it also distinguishes the more experienced drivers from the more inexperienced drivers, I would say.
Definitely, yeah. As you can see with Sven as well, he's obviously in 9th place now, but the 3 guys that are in front of him have already pitted, and everyone below him has already pitted. So that should put Noel actually, once Sven pits, that should put Noel. Well,
Yeah, so he's already done 10 laps on those mediums. I would say if he does not pit now, I would say this is about where I would expect the mediums to start falling off.
that's correct.
As you can see, all the rest of the field have already made that call to kind of get into the pit. Some of them have been on, wow, soft tires, hitting 10 laps on softs. That's amazing and shocking.
Yeah, we can see Bernardo setting the fastest lap on hards there, 129.
Oh, he's now going softs and then hards. Okay, so V is trying to possibly go for a soft, hard, soft maybe.
Maybe, yeah, or a one-stopper.
Or
But
a
I
one-stopper,
don't
but
think-
I don't think with about 20 odd laps or thereabout left, 18 laps left, I don't think he's going to be able to make 80 laps on one set of
We've
tires.
got a safety car on. Who spun? What happened?
It looks like it happened there in sector 2. It's Noel. Noel's gone off in sector 2.
Oh no.
And that's actually caused him to wreck his car.
This is going to be huge for Anthony. As you currently see, he's 10 seconds behind Bernardo. And with the safety car, it's going to be right up against him again.
That's very true. That's sad for Bernardo doing all the work to get that buffer built for himself. And now, that's all going to get null and void with the safety car out. The pack needs to come, in close proximity to one another before the track is cleared. And once the track is cleared and the whole pack is regrouped, they'll do 1 or 2 laps and then the safety car will come in. So this is really helping out the rest of the pack more than it does Bernardo.
Definitely. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Bernardo has a penalty as well.
You're right.
That means he's going to have to create another gap to try and beat the rest of the guys.
Do you expect anybody to head into the pits now that there's a safety car being out on track?
I would obviously, if I would either Charlie, Enrico, or Sven, I would go into the pits right now.
Try and get yourself one of those free pit stops.
That's correct, yeah. But a lot of these guys on relatively fresh tires as
Oh,
well. As you can see,
we already saw Enrico and Charlie and Anthony heading into the pits. Bernardo actually chose to stay out.
Yeah.
I wonder if this decision is going to cost him, though.
It is possible. Obviously, he is on the hards and they're relatively fresh, but he's probably been out for about 2-3 laps already with those tires. And once you get to an end race, those tires are going to be way more off than the rest of the guys' tires now. Also with so many of these guys, I mean, you can see the pack is still like spread very thin. A lot of the guys still need to catch up.
Yeah, so we'd probably expect like another 2 laps at least before the safety car gets back in.
That's correct. If Bernardo could, I would probably, I'm not sure how he thinks or what his planning is, but I would probably go into the pits now, even if that means starting at the back of the pack again.
In the whole time while the front runner is waiting for the pack to catch up, his tires are getting colder and colder.
And they're getting worn out as well.
Yeah. No, these tires definitely don't rack running cold. You need to be pushing them hard all the time to keep the heat up in those tires and to absolutely take advantage of the grip.
Yeah,
once they start getting cold, you just have no grip on them. They lose their stickiness.
It almost seems like Bernardo might pit. Let's see what he does here.
I would be surprised if he does not go. Bailey left the session again. I'm sure he'll be able to join. Oh, he just chooses to stay out again. Possibly at this point he thinking that, the rest of the pack is almost caught up on him, and probably thinking that it's best for him to stay out now.
Yeah, but if he did quit, as you can see now, it's Anthony and the rest of the pack, the other half of the pack is only coming past the pits now, so you would have probably come out in front of Anthony still, only having to catch 4 or 5 other guys. And he's obviously got the pace to do it.
It's going to be interesting to see who actually made the better call there, whether it was Anthony or Bernardo.
Definitely. But even if it's at a disadvantage for your front runner guys for a safety car to come out, especially if you have a gap like Bernardo did. But it does still make some interesting racing if you have like lap 13, lap 14, and the guys are right up against each other again.
Oh, absolutely. Now, this is going to bring a lot of duking and duels for the rest of the pack into play again, where we saw some of the guys were starting to get spread out quite evenly.
Yes. You're seeing a bunch of 2-stoppers now. We've got Anthony, Pedro, as well as Muhammad with 2 stops now.
Yeah, those are obviously the guys that have been taking advantage of the fact that there's a safety car out.
Definitely.
So we've had two retirements in this race already, Noel and Alexander Kim.
Yeah, Alexander, unfortunately, I've seen a previous race of him on that exact same corner on turn one, well, turn two, basically, that he spun out.
Well, let's hope that this is the last safety car for the race.
Yes. We've got a lot
Okay,
of fast cars in the front now. We've got,
so I brought up the penalties there. You can see that Bernardo, it's just Bernardo and Mohammed that currently have penalties. Bernardo has a 3-second penalty and Mohammed actually has a drive-through penalty.
and is currently in last place with a drive-through penalty, and obviously you can't serve that penalty when the safety car is out.
Yeah, I wonder if that's perhaps what he was attempting to do when
It's
he
possible.
went for the second pit.
It is possible.
And we see somebody else in the pits there now. Oh, that's the safety car. Sorry, my bad. Just looked at the dot.
Oh, is he
Oh,
coming
look
onto the
at that.
side?
Oh, but he
Oh, going running
completely
wide.
misses. He wanted that position so badly, but I think this is going to cost him. He's gone from P3, I believe it was, to P8.
That's correct.
Oh, that's a costly mistake.
Obviously trying that dive bomb and it didn't pay off. We can see Ruben going there into second place. It's
Yeah,
actually
no.
quite impressive.
V licked it and he sent it, eh?
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. I think Bernardo's going to push hard now, trying to get that 3-second gap and hold second place.
Looks like Mohammed's now served his drive-through penalty as that's no longer in play. So he's trying his best to catch up to the rest of the pack. At least he's got no traffic to deal with, so he should be able to catch up.
We're on board with Brandon Smith, but I don't think he's brought up his race card yet.
I'll
Maybe
quickly have a look at him. Racing for, sorry, not that one, let's click. So he's racing for Red Bull, driver 2 at Red Bull at 6.4 million.
Okay, so it's actually for driver 2, that's quite an expensive contract cost.
Yeah, but Brandon is very, very quick as well. I think he's going to surprise a few people this season.
That's good to hear.
He also does have a lot of experience and he tends to put in the work prior to tracks. So I think come Vietnam as well, we should see good things from him. I definitely expect him to finish in the points, that's for sure.
That's very good. It always, hard work always pays off. If you put in the seat time and you practice the track, learn the track and where you can cut some time and where you should rather stay off, it always helps.
Anthony seems to be gaining on Rabbi.
Yeah, we've got the two Haas boys in 4th and 5th position right now.
Two excellent drivers, I have to say. Haas really has a very, very strong F1 team here. I mean, Pedro being the Portuguese champion, and Anthony, as we've said, you know, we regularly see him chasing for podiums. I think this has got to be one of the favorite teams for the season.
I do think so as well. But they have quite a strong team. They're going to be hard to compete with.
As we see Rabbi locking up a little bit there into that right-hander. Obviously feeling the pressure here being placed on by Anthony. Locking up again.
That's going to cost them because both of them were on DRS track.
Now Pedro is probably going to be taking advantage of this DRS, having a sneak peek there at his teammate, side by side. And he pushes past Anthony. Is he going to make the move stick? Anthony going to bring it back? No, Pedro pushes past.
Beautiful.
Okay, so now we've got Pedro chasing up on Rabbi.
Yeah. And Rabbi also not being far away from Ruben. Less than, it was just like 5/10 of a second. So he's also,
There was a bit of a lag spike there.
Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me if I'm not pronouncing all the names 100%. We'll try our best. If I do pronounce it incorrectly, just correct me on Discord so that I know for the next time.
Yeah, we're all from different nationalities and different ways to pronounce things. Ooh, Bailey coming for V there. This is also quite close here at the back with these four guys again.
Yeah, Charlie Bailey and V close to each other there. Now it's a four-way battle with Brandon joining in at the back here.
Definitely. You can see also Enrico trying to push hard to catch up to Sven there in the back.
Okay, now we're looking at Pedro getting DRS there on Rabbi. I believe that.
Ooh. Going on the inside, you're side by side.
As we
Rabbi
see
locking up a little
Rabbi
bit.
pushing. Pedro making the move. Oh no, we see Anthony cutting to the left to get alongside Pedro and just nicking the right tire there of Rabbi. Sending Rabbi into the barrier there. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
That's really going to influence Rabbi's race now. Now we have the two Haas boys duking it out again. Pedro locking up there a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how the race is evolving with the different cars at different places now.
Brandon locking up there a little bit as well, but chasing really hard here on the Mercedes being driven by V.
Yeah, and Charlie very, very close to Brandon right there.
Oh, nice move there by Bailey.
Beautiful. I think Rabbi got some front wing damage there. Obviously, not having the downforce to
No, for sure. Hitting the barrier there would have definitely have caused him some damage.
We see Brandon passing Charlie there.
These three guys are extremely close to each other though, hey?
Very, very close.
Brandon should be getting some good DRS here.
Yeah, V going on the inside trying to defend his position.
Very smart play there by V going the defensive line there.
Ooh, and we see Charlie trying to push on in the inside.
He had a sneaky peek, but Brandon closed that door quickly.
Oh, and he goes on the inside.
Still challenging for the position. Charlie's right next to Brandon there, going side by side. Oh, brilliant maneuver there. That's got to be one of the best passes of the race so far. Brilliant pass there by Charlie.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was, if I may, that was ballsy.
That was ballsy, yes. But it paid off. Sometimes you just have to take the chance and it pays off. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, no, neither of the two drivers lifting, and obviously just Charlie getting the better of Brandon that one on that exchange.
Definitely. Ooh, we're seeing Anthony pushing hard to get into to Ruben. We actually see Pedro past Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben currently holding on to that last podium position there. Obviously, the guys getting paid bonuses if they could get onto the podium finish here as well as for fastest lap and pole position.
Ooh, Anthony having a little sneaky look there.
Fastest lap there by Bernardo. Very good. Very keen to get, the buffer back built. Okay, and now we see Anthony there. Anthony passing Ruben. Well done.
Yeah.
So we got both of the Haas boys now on podium.
Very well done. Now you can see what we said earlier with the Haas team being so strong. Those two drivers are just both phenomenal.
I have to say I'm very surprised by how closely Anthony is actually matching his teammates' pace.
For sure.
I did not expect this though.
I mean, that just shows that these drivers are all world class.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this there, Anthony came in at 4.5 million, right? And Bernardo came in at 9.5 million. So that's more than double for the driver one position, and he's literally just behind him.
Yeah. Sure. That Haas was an expensive team then.
They were an expensive team. Right, we see Brandon's gotten past Charlie there.
No,
So
obviously,
taking the position back from Charlie. Charlie also getting on a 3-second penalty there now, but Bernardo is currently on a 6-second penalty. Now this might come into play at the end stages of the race. If you guys can remember, I believe Pedro and Anthony are on fresh tires, correct? At least
That's
I know that
correct.
Anthony is. And Bernardo is now, with the penalties, going to start losing a little bit of time now to the guys chasing him on the fresher tires.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, yeah, like you said, he's probably going to have to pit within the next 4 to 5 laps. Probably going to softs to try and finish the next stint of the race. Where Pedro and Anthony, if they're on the hards, I'm not sure if they are. They might be able to still finish the race with the same tires.
Yeah, you would expect Bernardo to pit once more. I can't see him finishing the race on the set of tires that he currently has on.
Yeah.
Right, V still holding Brandon behind him.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job to defend.
I have to say he has got to be one of my favorites for driver of the day because he's just done an amazing job.
For sure, no, definitely. I mean, being a reserve driver, battling in the top 5 of the Formula One, and like we said earlier, these top 5 cars are really quick.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, my mouth is just dry. Like he has just been astounding today, and that's why I after seeing him drive in the F1, I definitely pick him as being one of the favorites to get promoted at the end of Formula 2 season for sure.
Definitely, that's for sure. He's actually getting away a little bit from Brandon right now.
Yeah, but he's still within that DRS, so Brandon's still chasing with DRS. You can see the gap closing to about half a second. Just goes to show how big of an advantage the DRS. Now Brandon has the advantage of lining him up for the second DRS zone to try and take advantage of that now as well.
Yeah, that's one of the tricky parts of this map is you've got 2 DRS zones, basically 2 corners away from each other, and that helps a lot with catching the guy in front of you.
Yeah, now you can see after the DRS zone, V extending the gap again. V does look like he's a little bit quicker through sector 2 than Brandon currently is, and that's a lovely view from the top down like that. We can see the gap now to Brandon behind V is increased to 0.7 of a second. Again, now we're looking at Pedro in P2 at the moment, closely being followed there by Anthony, just a little bit over a second behind him.
Yeah, and we can actually see Bernardo as we thought the tires are going to start going off, but he's actually managed to increase the gap even more to 8.5 seconds.
Yeah, no, that just goes to show you, the skill of this driver. It's ridiculous.
He's phenomenal. He's, like I said earlier, it's just beautiful to watch him race.
But that's probably why he gambled on not pitting earlier, because he probably felt like, he doesn't need to. He'd rather stay up ahead where he could manage the pace other than having to deal with traffic up ahead.
That's true. That's very true, like you said. Ooh, and Charlie gets past Brandon right there again.
Now, these two Haas drivers could be very smart right now. If they stay within close proximity to one another, they could actually leapfrog one another and help one another out to get to Bernardo using DRS to catch up.
Definitely, and both of them just need to stay inside a 6-second gap, and they'll automatically chop Bernardo down because of that penalty that he has.
I expect them to start catching within the next 3 laps. I mean, by that point, Bernardo's hards will be completely falling off.
But as you can see there, he's on hards, and Pedro and Anthony are both on the mediums. He's got 12 laps on, and the 2 of the other guys have got 10 and 9 laps.
Yeah, true.
So they should pit more or less at the same time if they
Because if you look at the laps, and the hard compound is obviously going to be a lot better at 12 laps than the medium tire is going to be at 10 laps. Because like we said earlier, you'd expect the mediums to last 10, 11 laps, thereabouts, maybe 12 if you're pushing it, and then you probably need to look at pitting again.
Brandon making his move on Muhammad right now.
Brandon being on soft tires, they're currently very fresh soft tires.
Yeah. Him and Bailey. Ooh. trying to move, but he just couldn't make it stick
Yeah,
with Muhammad.
Mohammed just closing the door there last second. Closely being followed there by Bailey as well.
Yeah.
Bailey also on fresh set of soft tires.
Yeah, as we can see, Muhammad's on 10 laps with these tires.
Yeah, so it's a matter of time just before these two guys get past. And as we said that, Brandon's already making a move to get past.
And Bailey's very close now.
Oh, and Mohammed takes the inside there. Wow, well done. Good move there.
Giving Bailey the chance to join as well.
Oh, and Bailey goes a little bit off track there.
Beautifully done. Wow, that was beautifully done by Bailey. Getting a double overtake right there. Going a little bit wide, but that was beautifully done.
Sheesh, and these two still... Oh, and I think there was contact there between Mohammed and Brandon there. Mohammed just not wanting to let up. That's unfortunate having Brandon, obviously coming off the worst of wear for that encounter.
Definitely.
Now, obviously with him sliding out, that would have left him with some flat spots on his tires also.
Yeah.
Alright, we see Bernardo now heading into the pits. You'd expect him to head up onto softs here now, which he
Yeah,
does.
he's trying to get the undercut on
Oh,
Pedro
and he is replacing his front wing as well.
He got some damage somewhere, most likely. Probably something we missed.
Yeah. Alright, so now we're seeing Pedro and
Bernardo's got a 11
Anthony.
second penalty now.
Yeah, he's clearly struggling somewhere, probably with track limits.
Yeah, all those tires just started going off and he maybe lost it somewhere.
Now we're seeing the two Haas boys currently leading the race here. Pedro currently being in the lead, closely being followed by Anthony behind him.
And it's got a 3 second
Within
penalty.
the DRS zone limit as well. They're really putting up a great performance, these two Haas boys tonight.
Definitely. Like you said, if these two can just like leapfrog on top of each other, they can increase the gap even more now.
Oh, for sure, definitely. They just need to work together as a team and maybe not fight one another.
It almost seems
Ped-
like Pedro wanted to go
No,
for it.
Pedro's trying to break the pull that he's giving his teammate. Obviously trying to keep the position for himself.
True.
Yeah,
But
fighting,
Anthony
coming past. Wow, this is unexpected. I didn't expect I would see Anthony actually being able to bring it to Pedro like this.
Anthony, it's you mustn't underestimate him. Like we said earlier, he's a very good driver. He's setting the fastest lap with a 1:28.500. Wow, we're really pushing hard to try and close
That
the
is
gap on
that is
Enrico.
insanely quick.
These two guys still battling it out. Obviously putting Pedro in the DRS zone now, trying to catch up to Anthony.
Anthony having a brilliant race here, really.
Yeah,
His teammate behind him currently half a second behind him and with the 3-second penalty. So if Anthony can keep his nose clean from here on out and just, build a little bit of a buffer just for safety's sake, he would definitely win this race.
yeah, definitely. Let's see if Pedro's going to try and get an overtake here. Going on the inside.
Again, these two just keep battling each other. Wow, Pedro now ahead. Brilliant
Beautifully done.
overtake. And will Anthony get the switch back?
Yes,
Oh, and
he
he does. Wow, this is some impressive driving. Just look
Pedro
at that,
in the
eh?
DRS again. Oh, I love this top-down view.
This is
Bernardo
just
getting
top-notch
1:27.
driving. 1:27.6 there by Bernardo. Fantastic lap time. Look at how close they follow each other. Their race lines are also very, very similar.
Yeah, and it just flows. It's beautiful.
Watching these two battle it out is real poetry.
For sure. And what makes it ironic is its teammates. Two
Oh,
horses
yeah.
battling it out.
No, I think we should, sit back and expect big things from Haas this season for sure.
No, I do agree with you. Bailey really pushing hard to come back into this race.
Yeah, Bailey currently having to carry the Williams team there on his own, unfortunately, for the race, having his teammate being knocked out on the first corner.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we see Brandon with that spin out down to 11th position, but he's trying really hard to catch up to Sven. And if he pushes hard enough, he might be able to catch Mohammed again as well.
Yeah, he only needs to get past Sven to at least get into the points. And we've got 3 laps left there. We should be able to get that done.
Yeah,
Closely being followed. Yeah, he should be able to get past Sven here now.
yeah, but Sven had DRS on Mohammed as well.
Yeah, that's true.
They should be able to catch him on this next track with some slipstream. Keeping it very close there.
There we go.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done.
Now Brandon is hunting down Mohammed for round 2 of the overtake.
Yeah.
Hopefully this
Seems
time
like-
it would be a lot more smoothly than the previous time.
Yeah, Mohammed's lights are flashing, so he's low on ERAs as well. So he's not going to be able to have much power to defend that position from Brandon. Ooh, a little bit of a tail coming out there from Brandon. These two still going at it. Pedro actually caught Anthony again.
Yeah, so Pedro is again in the lead.
Yeah, but he still needs to push hard to get that.
Yeah, they just currently
Yeah.
leapfrogging one another. As soon as the one guy has DRS, he's the next guy ahead again.
And we can see that working because they now formed a 7.5 second gap between them and Ruben.
Yeah, no, this is ridiculous. Ruben is not going to be able to just catch him by himself.
Yeah, no, for sure not.
And this is what you want to see your teams do. I mean, like, other teams should really take note of this. You want to see your drivers work together like this, whether it's planned or not. It's effective.
No, definitely. No, for sure. I mean, you've got Bernardo that was the front runner in 90% of the race, now being 5th with 11-second penalty. So that should bring Bailey and Charlie on top of drop
Yeah,
down.
no, this race has come completely 180 to what we expected. Well, I mean, in the beginning stages of the race, Bernardo had it all going his way, and it kind of fell apart here from about lap 25, 26, thereabouts.
Oh,
Look at
very
this.
close there between Brandon and Mohammed.
What's going on? But Mohammed's actually
Mohammed
bumping Brandon there on the
It
straight.
did look like that.
Oh, and then he
that-
spins him around. Oh no, that's very bad sportsmanship.
That looked very dirty. That was not.
Yeah, no, I mean I can expect Brandon to have a rage quit moment there.
no.
After catching Mohammed for the second time, both times being taken out, that would be cause for rage. So the stewards will obviously investigate that incident after the fact.
Definitely.
So,
Seeing some steam overlay going on.
yeah, sorry about that again.
This is Ruben in the AlphaTauri. Yeah.
Bailey also on a 3-second penalty. Charlie on a 6-second penalty. These bunch of guys really battling, it looks like, with the track limits. Anthony again getting past Pedro.
Beautifully done. It's strange. I didn't see Mohammed get a penalty actually for that incident.
No, but we'll obviously look into that with the steward decisions after the fact.
Yeah, no, definitely not. These two, this is just beautiful. They're just going to probably obviously be in the DRS zone again. He might be a little bit too far to catch up to Anthony there.
Oh, but this is brilliant racing. Really, this is brilliant racing by these two boys.
No, definitely. You would say who surprised you quite a lot in the first race now? Yeah.
Anthony, I mean, like I was expecting Pedro and Bernardo to be quick because they were the two fastest guys on time
Yes.
trials. I was not expecting Anthony to be this quick and to be this surprising on the first race. I mean, he's got to be, him and V has got to be the two drivers today that have impressed me the most and have kind of left me shell shocked.
No, definitely. I do agree with you.
So Anthony takes the win there. Well done, well done.
Both first and second position from Haas.
Pedro
Ruben
in
takes the win.
second, Ruben in third, V in fourth. Well done and brilliant showing there by V.
Yeah, that's
Bradley Bailey coming around for the fifth place.
we're dropping down there. Probably penalties.
Yeah,
And Enrique will stay in eighth position as he the gap between him and Mohammed is 7 seconds. A little bit of showmanship there.
yeah.
Right,
Showboating gone wrong.
just see the red
And that concludes that. Okay, so we can quickly have a look at who the driver of the day was.
Charlie Hancock. Yeah, beautifully done. I do have to agree with that.
All right, so then we can see the victory dance there by those two Haas boys getting podiums, both of them. Fantastic work.
That was beautiful between those two. Do you believe if these two keep up the races like they just did here in Bahrain, this is going to be a force to deal with?
Oh yeah, no, the rest of the teams need to take note of these two guys and how well they work together. If the other teams don't do this, then I can't see them being, challenging Haas this season. This was just
Definitely.
a flawless display by them today. You
Yeah,
can't ask
I mean,
more for an opening race, getting P1 and P2. I mean, that's a brilliant start to a season.
yeah, definitely. I mean, Pedro started in fifth place in the grid and he made his way up until second.
So we
Even the
looked
same
at that.
with
So Bernardo actually scoring the fastest lap of the race. Right, so now we look at the final race standings after all steward decisions were taken into effect. And after the steward decisions, we actually see a change there. So Anthony actually moves down to P2, and that was because of that incident, if you recall, between him and Rabbi, where he nicked the front tire of Rabbi, and that actually ended up costing him a 5-second penalty for causing that collision there. And that was just enough to knock him down to P2. The other mention that I need to put out here was Mohammed kept his position, but he was actually awarded a one-race suspension for dirty driving as he caused multiple incidents in this race. So even though he's a Formula 2 driver, the next time he needs to sit in for a Formula 1 race, he will actually not be able to. So that being that, we can actually then look at the current standings for the season. Again, Ruan, if you want to talk us through this.
Yeah, so obviously we can see the two half boys right at the top there with Pedro and Mr. Barbosa and Barbara followed right below him with 25 and 18 points. They're going to be right at the top with the constructors standing. I don't think there's anyone that's going to be close to them.
Isn't it funny how close those two surnames are to one another as well? And they're Barbosa and Barbara is very close to
I got a little bit tongue-tied right there. And we can see one of my favorites, Ruben, there coming in third place for the Alpha Tauri team, scoring 15 points. The newcomer V, actually for F2, that's brilliantly done for him, scoring 12 points.
Fantastic showing for sure.
Yeah, that was just brilliantly done.
Bailey actually finishing in fifth place. So we remember there was a bit of a glitch there, and we actually had to go and look at it again, where his penalties were only 3 seconds, but he dropped down at the end of that race. So once we investigated that, he actually maintained his fifth place finish.
That's correct, yeah. Yeah, Charlie Hancock, which was the driver of the day, taking the 6th place there with 8 points. points currently.
Yeah, and then surprisingly enough, the leader of the race for most of the race, Bernardo, actually ended up in 7th.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. But like we said earlier, it all comes down to tire strategy.
Tire strategy and well, if you just are not careful with those track limits, those penalties are going to cost you dearly, as we saw today. At one point he had more than 11-second penalties, and with the track, the grid being so closely matched with skill, you just can't afford 11 seconds.
Definitely, yeah. And another F2 driver was Mohammed. Like you said earlier, unfortunately, he's been suspended for next race, but he did score 2 points. And then your guy actually came into 10th, scoring himself his first point as well.
Yeah, page 2 of the leaderboard. I don't think there was anybody, if I remember correctly. Oh yes, no, it was just a bunch of guys. So these guys all had did not finish, and they unfortunately didn't score any points. So yeah.
I did finish. It was Brandon and Neil and Alexander that did it.
That's
Brandon
correct.
Finished, yes.
Okay.
He was spun out.
So now we can have a look at the Constructor Championship. Haas currently leading with a ginormous and very impressive gap to the AlphaTauri team. The Haas currently being on 43 points, Mercedes then on 14. Williams 10, Alfa Romeo on 8, Racing Point only also having that one driver having a showing today, so that's 7 points. Renault 4 points. Ferrari stepping away with only 1 point today. Very sad for me, but I was glad to have my Formula 2 driver at least score us 1 point. As I was saying again, watch out for the Ferrari team in round 2. If both of my drivers show up, you guys are going to see some things happen. See some magic.
Yeah, and then McLaren and Red Bull unfortunately not scoring anything right now. But also McLaren only having a F2 driver stand in. No, sorry, Rafa is the driver 2 for Formula 1. Sorry, I'm mistaken.
We had too many Formula 2 drivers having to stand in. So hopefully the Formula 1 guys plan a little bit better with regards to this for round 2, and we see a little bit more commitment from them. It does. Once you're committed to a team, you need to show up. All right. So that's it for us for tonight, guys. Thank you for joining us for the race, and have a great evening as we cue the closing video.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. My name is Ruan. I hope you guys enjoyed the race, and we'll see you guys next time.
Good night, everyone.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear person you are.